there, and welcome to Real Talk with Angry Soccer Mom. This week's discussion topics include anything you feel is newsworthy about racism, bigotry, and inequality in America. And right about now, that includes pretty much everything. So we have a lot to talk about. If you are watching on Facebook, please come over to my YouTube channel called Angry Soccer Mom, because I cannot stream both. And also have comments. And the show is also meant to be an opportunity for viewers to speak their mind, and also, an educational tool for white folks who want to learn the truth about systemic racism in America. So I'm going to start with announcements. Today I'm streaming both YouTube and Facebook, so this could get a little crazy. If you want to comment, jump over to YouTube. Benjamin, hello. Thanks for being here. We have a lot to talk about. Unfortunately, I can't stream both, like I said, at this time. So if you're watching on Facebook, come on over. A quick note, I have set a new policy for disruptive commenters. And I think everyone knows who I'm talking about. Anton, hello. I'm talking about people who are there to just, be kind of jerks and stuff. So most people will be happy to know that this new policy, what it basically means is, if you are here to learn and to educate other people, hey Stevie, then you're in the right place. But if you're here to be a jerk, you're not. It's a really simple policy. So I hope everyone's doing well. I wanted to thank so many people who came to the 4th Democratic candidate debate chat party yesterday. It was definitely interesting, both on Facebook and YouTube. It got a little wild, and we had quite the turnout, so it was really exciting. So I am happy people are here, and as always, bring up your own topics if you wish. The ones that I've come up with so far tonight are last night's Democratic debate, kind of the takeaways. Mr. F.S. Black, hello! That should we... that should weed out the antagonist. I'm like, don't I sound strict? When I was a teacher, oh my God, I was a pushover. I was so easy. But I try. Yeah, I'm sure they're shivering in their britches. But last night we had a few kind of naughty, bad people. That was not nice. But I think I got rid of them pretty fast. I'm not sure if anyone noticed. There was one person who was doing something very nasty. And when I replayed the video, I looked and I was like, the whole time I was like eyeballing the guy. It was weird. But anyway, yeah, that should get him out. The second thing, so the Democratic debate, Trump administration thwarting LGBTQ people's rights left and right. The new this is lovely. New ACLU official hate symbols that have been added to the list, and yes, they track them. Ignoring Trump's role in mass shootings is another thing. And the police shooting in Fort Worth, Texas. And the last topic I've prepared for is candidates' police reform plans. I want to know what the plans are for police reforms. I don't want to vote for somebody who doesn't have a really good plan. That's just my personal take. So let me see. Benjamin with a question. Why don't the Democrats have a policy to help Black Americans but have many for illegals and gays? I don't know the answer to it, but I can only tell my personal opinion. It's because they really, really, really hate Black people. And I hate too. Oh, you do? I do. Okay. Hang on one second. We have a hopefully small technical problem. Not too big. We have a technical problem. Oh, I'm not? No. Oh. Now am I? Oh. Okay. Not sure what it was, but I think it's been changed. Benjamin, I'm not trying to be funny. There is some, and I don't get it. And this is just my opinion. Literally, you're getting the opinion of a white privileged woman. I truly believe there is this incredibly deep-seated hatred for absolutely no reason. I mean, it's basically like the opposite of what should be happening. But I don't get it. It's the sickest thing. We truly hate our black and brown brothers and sisters, and I don't get it. I know that it sounds like a horrible thing. I'm super honest. At least I'm as honest as I can be, to myself. And that's not a great answer, but it's got to be the truth, because what you said. So anyway, it's not a pretty answer, but I'm not here to do pretty things. I'm here to be honest, really honest. Ronald, oh my gosh, I'm so happy you're here. You're not late at all. I just went over the topics for tonight that I have planned, but anything you want to bring up is absolutely fine. I'm going to do a quick rant, and then we will open it up. And if you're watching on Facebook, get over here and come onto the YouTube channel so that I can chat with you. So I'm going to start my rant while I'm doing this crazy rant of mine. Please think about topics you want to discuss, because there's a lot of them. And this rant's a little bit personal, because yesterday I made a personal choice to post a violent. Yesterday I made a personal choice to post a violent video. The one that Trump supporters played last week at that golf resort during their kickoff conference for the 2020 election campaign. Well, it was a far-right conference with a ton of super, really racist, overtly racist people. And I posted the violent video. At first I didn't, but then I made a decision to do so. And I wanted to explain why. I got a ton of shit from a few people, and then a few people kind of understood. But I want to explain my reasoning tonight. So that's what I'm going to do in my rant. And then we will get the show started. Trump's rhetoric in 2020, in his 2020 campaign rallies, is getting more vile and more disgusting. Each day he seems to lower himself, lower the bar, lower everybody around him. The bar for human decency by escalating the name calling and the lies and the just cruel everything. So full of it. Oh my gosh, projection, my God. A psychiatrist's dream come true for their PhD, I suppose. He's always bullied, and he's always name called his opponents and anyone who's perceived as an enemy or who goes against him. But now we're getting a little bit beyond that. He's inciting hate among his followers, and he's purposely doing it. And he's being very direct and very specific to individuals and organizations. And this is out of control. This is absolutely out of control, and I don't need to tell you that. In recent months, let me see, quick rundown. He's hatefully targeted AOC and the supposed squad, he's calling them, declaring them un-American and telling them to go back where they came from. And as a result, these congresswomen have received death threats, insults, social media attacks. They're being attacked, and seriously credible threats that are real. This is terrifying. He is going to get somebody killed. I know he already has, but he calls the media the enemy of the people and inspires hate rhetoric against members of the press. He demonizes groups of people like migrants, Muslims, and anyone who's not white and wealthy. He's targeted Adam Schiff, calling for his removal. I mean, he is the world's classic bully. And it's only going to continue to get worse and worse as the election grows closer and his impeachment inquiries continue. His emotional instability is making our nation an easy target. When do you want to hurt an enemy or a target? When they're most confused and weak. Well, I'm going to say his acting out and emotional instability is really dangerous. And I feel like people aren't really thinking about that just because there's so much to think about. I know you all know this way too well, but we are a target. Trump's behavior resembles that of a cross between an immature schoolyard bully and a classic dictator. At every turn, he tries to circumvent the inconvenient rules that were put in place by our Constitution and the norms that are called decency, decent behavior. I mean, just being human. It's just unbelievable. He jokes about being a president for life. That's not funny. He refuses to answer questions in the Mueller investigation, and he got away with it. He bars those subpoenas from Congress for testifying and basically obstructing justice. He regularly makes policies that harm working class Americans for the benefit of the very wealthy elite and himself. He sounds a little like an exaggerated version of a mob boss who values blind loyalty over competence or anything else. And he surrounded himself with a band of ruthless sycophants who play to his ego and endorse his lunatic agenda. And quite frankly, I think they're afraid of him. I really do. I see fear. So how does he get away with this? He utilizes his massive social media presence and conservative media machine to spin current events so he can dictate his own warped reality and basically talks them into it too. He plays on people's fears and racist values. He plays on the fears and racist values of his uneducated followers who are like almost in too deep. I mean, he never, and I mean never, takes blame for anything. Have you ever heard him say sorry or, oh, my bad, or no? He is constantly, deflecting and making it everybody else is so horrible. I've never met such a victim in all my life. His formula is that if something goes wrong, he'll either blame it on someone else or he will convince his followers that wrong is actually right, and they believe him. He takes credit for things that he played no part in. He creates problems. And all of a sudden, only he is the one to be able to solve them. He's the hero. He creates them in the first place and then becomes the hero. He stacked the judicial system with partisan judges who owe him something. They're in debt to him. He has something over them. I don't know what. The truth is, I could name 100 things that he's done to destroy our democratic republic, and so far he's kind of getting away with it. Not kind of. He's getting away with it. But that is not what tonight's rant is about. Okay, don't worry, I won't go much longer. That's not what tonight's rant's about. Tonight I'm going to talk about complacency. And I know I've talked about it before, but it just keeps coming up. In all fairness to Trump, which we want to keep our own standards, not use his, he cannot become a dictator unless he has support. And he clearly has support. And even when Trump is gone, we are still going to have people who sold their souls for hate. So they sold their souls for hate and a little chance at an extra money. And it's really sick. Like Pete Buttigieg alluded to last night in the debates, his followers will still be here after Trump is long gone. And they are not willing to educate themselves. They are not willing to love their fellow humans. They're fearful. I don't have an answer, but there's simply too many people doing nothing to resist Trump. I think most people truly believe that just because our democracy has withstood the past threats and it's been strong, that it'll withstand present and future ones too, and it's just not true. Freedom is not free, and the people who came before us, and yes, some of them were flawed, and yes, a lot of them had things that they did that were wrong. No one's right and no one's all the way wrong, hopefully. Not too many people are. But this is the kind of exact type of complacency that is going to get us into trouble. Too many people just thinking, we'll be fine. Recently, I came to the sad conclusion that my idealism needs to be diminished a little. I love being an idealist. I love it. It feels so right. But the large majority of mostly white folks in America do not care that Trump is racist as hell. They just don't care. They don't care that he's a bigot. They don't care that he's a misogynist. They don't care that he is all for the rich and everyone else who cares? Many of them don't even seem to see the problem. In fact, I'll just be honest, while we're on the honesty, while we're being honest here, in fact, many of them think that all these things are a bonus. They think it's a bonus that he's racist as hell and he's misogynistic and it's a sickness. I don't get it. So I'm routinely told by supposed well-meaning people, and this has been going on forever, to stop talking about all these issues and they'll just go away. That people like me are the cause of all these issues and the insane injustices and abuses, and I'm actually causing all this racism. I'm like, wow, that's a lot of power for me. I don't really have that big of an audience. Dang, thanks a lot. Oh, I'm told constantly, this is all me. This is all me. I'm not here to solve anything for anyone. I'm here for one reason and one reason only, because I can't stand this culture. It doesn't have to be this way. And it's made me sick, and I'm not going to sit and watch. People think, oh, I'm some sort of savior. Not even. I'm saving myself. I can't stand this, and this is not what I want to have my children grow up in, this kind of sick inhumanity. And I'm not leading. I'm talking to white folks. I don't represent them, but I certainly am not educating anyone but white folks. It's not my place. It's sickening, and I'm not going to be quiet about it. Do you guys know how many white folks in America deny systemic racism? It's unstinking believable. After all that Trump's brought out, many deny Trump's vile racism, bigotry, and cruelty, and inhumanity to his own citizens. People are delusional, and they're going to go about their lives as usual, while ours and theirs and their lives just go along as usual, while the 1% is destroying us. They've picked the wrong people to blame, and it's absolutely on purpose. It's propaganda on purpose, and it's been that way forever. It's as if people don't realize that when one group's human and civil rights are abused, their group's next. It's just an awful, awful thing. It seems to me that the only chance that we have to get more people to open up their eyes is to show the gory truth. So that is why yesterday, in an effort to break through this complacency, I decided to publicly post that disgusting Trump clan, the video that the Trump clan brought, to kick off their 2020 campaign for their presidential campaign. I decided to post it, and a lot of people were like, oh my God, how dare you? It's like we go into war because it's over there. It's like a video game. I think we should post it all. I think if we vote for war, we should freaking post it all. Every single bloodied child that's killed, every bullet, everything. And actually know that it's real. I chose to put it out there because I think white folks especially need to see it. They need to see the sick shit, because there are too many of us who are still in denial. And we have a serious issue on our hands here in this nation. And we need everybody, not just, it's time. We've reached a point where it's time. We have a person who's probably going to want to be a dictator and stay. And this is scary. I talk to white folks all the time who claim to have no problem here. They claim we have no problem with hatred at all. And it's just because people like me talk about it too much. If we'd only shut up and go away. Well, I chose to post it because I feel like white America needs to know the ugly truth about their president, what their president and Klan think is funny. And I hope that makes sense. I don't feel like we should have the luxury to ignore it. We have, white folks in America, most of us, not all, have the luxury to kick back and ignore it. Doesn't impact us any, but people need to see the truth and they need to see the ugliness. To be honest, I posted it because I felt like I was keeping this sick, depraved truth private when it needed to be public. And that maybe, just maybe, I don't know, I'm a dreamer, I know. Maybe if folks just saw the truth, that it would lead to them rethinking, I don't know. I mean, I'm a dreamer, what can I say, I'm not ready to give up hope. I can't. And Trump has never made it like a big secret about his, he knows he incites violence. He's so full of shit if he thinks he doesn't. His supporters have taken the cue and run with it. So tonight's rant is that I really feel like this is just the beginning. Things are going to get a lot worse, and we need to be extremely aware. And I know I'm, preaching to the choir, but I'm hoping that some white folks who maybe, don't feel like this really impacts them much might hear this and care. And now my rant is over, finally. I will take some comments from everybody. Thank you so much for listening, guys. It was a long rant tonight, but it was really from the heart. It's just crazy. Nails and Glitter, you were listening to Marianne Williams on TYT. I didn't know that. Mr. F.S. Black, between Botham John, Joshua Brown, and now the murderer of oh my God, I cannot stare. I'm like, just want to cry when I see her name. Tatiana Jefferson in her own home. This system of white supremacy is making crystal clear that there is open season on blacks in America. Absolutely. It's anesthesia. He posted, let me just go back. Sorry, I'm scrolling back. Sorry about that. I am going back. I always lose my spot here. All right, Stevie, Tammy the Mammy, his brother fucked it up for all of us. Oh my gosh, Anastasia. Don't forget Ayanna Jones and Corinne Gaines, both killed one in their own homes. Yeah, it's literally, the list is getting so long I can't keep up with everything, because a lot of the groups that I do covers racism, bigotry, inequality, misogyny, and covers so much I can't keep up. He's a post-turtle or a useful idiot at best. That's Anastasia. Nails and Glitter. There are so many victims, it's hard to keep them straight, and I don't want to become desensitized or forget. Nails and Glitter, I feel the same way. I cannot keep up with the news flow. I can't. I need help. Hello, Pat. Thank you for being here if you're still here. Thank you. If you're over at Facebook right now, get over here onto YouTube so you can make comments. This is supposed to be a conversation. And if I ever get popular enough to actually be able to afford to have phone lines, I will definitely, I'd rather have your voice and you actually talking than me reading your stuff. But it's kind of how it goes right now. Stevie says, oh, Angry Soccer Mom, you can't say them all. You know what? I know. And this is going to sound really goofy and hallmarky or whatever, or white privilegey, or I don't know, but my goal is to save myself, and I want my last breath to be me saying to myself, you did everything you possibly could for a single person who's not, I don't have a lot of power. That's all I want. I just want to be able to say to myself I did. Like, I truly feel like I did everything I could, and that'll make my life complete. It just will. So I know, yeah, I know. I can't even, I don't know if I can save even one, but thank you. Yeah, I know. But I'm going to try, because I can't just do nothing. I won't just do nothing. I can't sit and watch. Let me see. Got a couple more messages. Anastasia, please do self-care or freedom fighting. They say when they did the autopsy for MLK Jr., he had the heart of a 60-year-old. Yeah, thank you, Anastasia. I haven't taken a day off since he was elected, but that's a choice. This just matters to me a lot, but I have been trying to get more sleep, and I'm good. Don't worry about me. Heck, you know what? Here's the bottom line. I can stop anytime I want, and that is my privilege, and other people can't, and it's still happening. So I don't worry about me. I worry about everybody else, because you know what? I look white. People actually assume I'm a racist. It's unbelievable. They just assume. People actually say racist shit to me, and I'm like, as if like, oh yeah, I'm like, no. Of course, then I go off, but it's unbelievable. People assume. It's like very strange. Okay, let me get back to Nails and Glitter. Ridiculous numbers, and a lot of people ignore it. Anastasia, there are so many martyrs. Stevie says, no, they don't. And again, because I'm so behind, I don't know what that was referencing. Nails and Glitter, okay. I will catch up. Anastasia. Oops. Pat. Well, the white supremacist people are upset you are talking about their racist agendas. I know. I know. Oh, you should see, you guys. If you ever want a comedy show, it's not funny, but it's so telling. You should see the YouTube stuff I get. Oh my God. I don't post them because it's like people, because it's kind of like anonymous. It's unbelievable. I think that white folks should see it. Not all, but I mean, people who need to see it. They need to know these people are out there. They post some stuff that it's like, that's kind of scary. Yes, they are upset because, and I don't really get it, but I don't get it. Who gets it? Let me see. Nails and glitter. White solidarity forces white people to turn against white people that speak out. It's a fragility that only protects racism. Yeah, and you know what? That's always how it is. So, I mean, I lost all my friends a long time ago. They're not my friends if they're not. Don't worry about. But white folks who get into this and start to understand, there's no turning back. Once you see and you learn our real racial history, there's no turning back and going, it's over. You know, and you see it, and you cannot sit and watch it. It's like a reawakening. It really is. So do beware. Let me see. Mr. Evans Black. Those who support white supremacy only buy themselves a little time before they themselves are eventually screwed by it. Absolutely. And that's a great point, Mr. Evans Black, because, see, what some of us white folks don't get is that our interest economically is very similar to everyone else except the wealthiest elite. And it's all a setup, as you all know. It's a setup. And the wealthiest elite thank us for our service by our hatred and blaming brown people, black people, indigenous people, African American people. We keep all of the pressure off of them so they can keep doing what they're doing. And the fact that we'll never unite because of racism thrills them. It must thrill them. They're laughing their asses off at us, at the white people, because we're suckers. We're suckers for the propaganda and that. I guess it's capitalism and the hope that we can be better than somebody else. And oh, yay, for doing nothing, for being born white. Okay, give me a break. So anyway, I'm on a rant. Let me read. Yeah, great point. I hope that was your point. I'm not over to Pat, it's because they are not affected by it. But you know what, Pat? The craziest thing is, I don't believe it. I believe you. I don't believe we're not affected by it. I know I'm affected by it, but I don't believe I'm special. We are affected by it. We have just put it off and suppressed it. And think about this. We live in a society where people are cruel, really cruel and abusive. Our government, our own government that we all pay taxes to, is cruel and abusive to our sisters and brothers. I'm sorry, I can't live like that. I can't live just going, oh, well, it doesn't affect me any. It does affect me. And it's just, we're in denial. We're, honestly, I don't believe it. That's just kind of my thing. I don't believe it. I think people are just absolutely ludicrous with that. But, I mean, that's all like psychology and stuff. Okay. Where am I? But it will soon be, I mean, absolutely, especially with this dictator dude. Anastasia. Angus talking about, if they open their eyes to him, they're required to open their eyes to themselves. Exactly. And they gotta either give up their privilege and white power or ignore it. Yeah, they can't, great point. See, that's why you guys are very, very wonderful to compliment things I'm saying, because you guys just get it. I'm just saying from my heart, but a lot of you are living it. So I really appreciate your input. Right. Take care, because we need more angry white people. Yeah. Absolutely. In fact, that's kind of one of my goals, is to get people, white folks, to move along the anti-white continuum. Not to be saviors, but We're here. We see it. Why would we just sit and watch? Why? Why would we sit and watch? Because we can. It's like I always use this analogy, and it's kind of probably old, but would you tell your kids to walk by someone who is being bullied and treated like a piece of crap in the schoolyard because it doesn't affect you any? My God, no. I'd be ashamed of my kids. I tell my children that you are there to be a good human first and foremost. That's really what matters. So that's, I don't know. But yeah, but I would love to help people move along so that they can find their voice and stand up, because every voice counts with this. I truly believe that. Anastasia, an appeaser feeds the lion, so it will eat them last. Ooh, interesting philosophy. Nails and glitter. It is going to get much worse before it gets better. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. I mean, if you guys think about it, obviously I know you all have, he is going to get prosecuted if he leaves the office. The man is desperate. So please stay safe. He's brought out the truth. He's brought out the truth. And you can't shove the truth back away. You can, ignore it all you want if you're white or whatever, or if you're really super wealthy, maybe you can, I don't know. But yeah, freedom has never been given up without bloodshed. Anastasia, yep. And Nails and Glitter said, yes, you said it right. I'm not sure who she's referring to, but hopefully me. Just kidding. Thanks, you guys. Ronald, please don't apologize for speaking the simple truth. And you know what? I thank you. Because to be honest, sometimes I'll get people to write to me and say, like, I get people writing to me a lot. And they say, oh, thank you so much. And I'm kind of like, oh my God, that's where we're at in the society. I'm being thanked for speaking the truth? Excuse me. That's what I'm supposed to do. I don't need credit for being human. So that's how low we are and how crazy hurtful we are. People thank me for speaking the truth. It's like, no, I don't get a prize for existing. It's like, when like you joined the team so everyone gets a prize. It's no. I mean, it's like, no. The actual act of caring is my prize. The act of being able to feel like I'm doing something, whether it makes a difference or not, that's my prize. I don't need, but I mean, I appreciate people being so sweet, but that's how bad off we are. People thank me. And that's just like, oh my God, it's just a whole, don't even get me started. Okay, but thank you, Ronald, I appreciate it. I have, there you go. Oh, Joshua, yay, I'm so happy you're here. Hola, Joshua, do you speak Spanish? I take Spanish lessons, I was just curious. Reggie, what finally made me aware? I was born, no, I'm just kidding. Actually, the truth is, I don't know. I was 6. I remember my first thinking about it, and I was 6 years old. It's a boring story. I saw it. I didn't know how to say it. I just saw it, and I was appalled. And I didn't understand why people were pretending it wasn't there. And I felt really alone. It's a very lonely place. I thought, why is everyone pretending they don't see? Some people are being treated really poorly, and others aren't. I didn't quite, I was a slow child. I didn't quite differentiate that it was like whitish people or brown people, but I knew a group of people wasn't being treated the same, and I didn't get it. And nobody explained it to me because I was raised in the age of colorblindness, where, and I have to say, my parents never uttered a single solitary anything, racial slur. I didn't know anything. I had to learn it from other people, just kidding. But they also never explained it to me. I didn't know. And when I was 12, I ended up, don't judge. I was dating my, yes, 12K, judge if you want. I was dating my boyfriend, my high school sweetheart was, it still is hopefully, a Japanese, first generation Japanese American. And his mom hated my guts. And I didn't know why. because, naive little white girl here. And I still didn't get it. And so when I was much older, I figured it out, because I had a seminar with somebody who was trained by Jane Elliott. And it was like, oh my God, I'm not crazy. Well, I might be crazy still, but at least not for that. It's real. I've seen it. It's real. No one told me. No one would admit it. So I was crazy. So then I went to college and, had to study it, and because I had to, because I thought I was crazy. I might still be, but okay. Anyway, enough about me. Thank you for asking. Thanks, Reggie, for asking. Pat, you should post the rotten messages. Yeah, maybe I'll do a video on it. It's really interesting. I think white folks would be traumatized if they saw the messages I get. I mean, they are really scary, because I don't think that they get this is really the way people are, just because they haven't experienced it. So anyway, I'm blabbing. Yeah, maybe we'll talk about that. I'm not sure. Anton, I don't know, Kim. The way to get the biggest change is when their fellow bigots turn on them. Yeah, the really extreme people, I can't help, and no one can help. They can't even help themselves. But I'm telling you, there is so much hope for white folks. I know white folks who come over to one of my groups, and they're really reluctant, and they kind of watch for a while, and they just observe, and then they say a peep. It's such a really, really harsh learning curve, but once you get them, you start with, there's an order of operations. You start with race is a human construct. It's not. You start with like low level, and then you build up, and you let them kind of simmer in it. You don't just tell them all at once, and they slowly, and once they get it, it clicks, and that's it. I've seen people just go find their voice, and it's such a cool thing. Because I'm a teacher, so I'm like, all about teaching. Okay, I am going to, but yeah, I don't know the answers. I mean, everything, some people have to literally live it themselves. But I do a seminar that is experiential, and I can't get anyone to go. I did about 8 of them, and I had 2 people in all 8 of them. They're a 2-hour experiential seminar. I don't really have the money to advertise. If I could advertise like some of the media people do. I loved my seminar. I wrote the whole thing, and I mean, of course I loved it. I made it up. But it was experiential. I did the basketball experience, where everybody is sitting in a row, and I'm teaching a class, and it's just a experiential learning, but people get the right feeling. I give everyone a piece of paper, and some of the people in the front I give more, and we all try to make a basket for a prize. And some people get accused of stealing extra paper, and some people end up getting a gift certificate for extra lessons since they missed, but their parents are rich, so they get extra paper and extra lessons. Some people looked at me wrong, and we decided they don't get a chance. So it gets kind of ugly, but it's pretty effective. As effective as it can be, because we'll never live this, white folks. We will never live it. It doesn't mean we stop trying. So anyway, I'm blabbing. I will keep reading. Pat, Kim, what I was saying is that whites are not affected by it because of the privilege that you have. Yeah, no, absolutely. Right, but yeah, Pat, I know what you meant. You mean they're not affected by it because of our privilege, so it doesn't come to us. Like it's not as obvious. It's not as obvious to most of us. I don't know why I noticed. I don't know. It's just, I'm sure other people noticed too. I noticed when I was really little, and I felt very lost, and I thought I was imagining things, but that's just me. I know what you meant, Pat. I totally know what you mean. Yeah, black people don't have that type of privilege. They have other privileges, but not that one, and that's a big one. Absolutely. Anastasia, Angry Soccer Mom. First, we would have to be seen as humans for someone to care. A dog gets more compassion and empathy than we do. I'm jealous of Amber Geiger, and I will never get as much compassion and empathy. Yeah, she got her hair stroked. She got a Bible. She got a nice hug from a judge. She got a hug from a young man. I guess he's not a boy. He's a young man. Young man, the brother. And a forgiveness. And I'm not here to judge any of that, but you are absolutely right. No time that I see in the future are people who are not just like Amber going to be afforded that kind of comfort. Now, personally, don't hate me for this. I think everyone should be treated extremely well, even criminals, even people who do bad things, but not because of their white privilege. Because we're all humans and we're all here for such a short amount of time. And why not just treat each other well? We don't have to be jackasses to people who are criminals. We need to protect people who are criminals. Have something's wrong with them. I'm not saying let them go be free and hurt people, but I truly believe a nation and a group of people are judged harshly on how we treat the most vulnerable people. People who are criminals are vulnerable people. They are held, in prison. And most will get out. And so to treat them like crap is as unconscionable. But what you're talking about is something completely different. It's called systemic racism, and it's disgusting that she got that kind of treatment when there's no way someone else would have. And I can't imagine watching that, how that must have just been like, God. Nails and glitter, right, Pat. They can't see it because the privilege is integrated into every part of our. Yes, it absolutely is. Okay, let me see. Nails and glitter. Just know those people don't value themselves as much as their oppressors. It isn't something that would be satisfying in reality. This is just my take. People who are overtly racist, they hate themselves. And it's just like any other acting out. They feel bad about themselves. If you feel good about yourself, feel good at yourself, you don't do that to other people. You don't put other people down and make them feel like shit for nothing. People who feel good about themselves aren't jackasses to other people. It's just, I don't know, amateur psychologist or whatever. I'm not sure exactly what you're saying, Nails and Glitter. Maybe clarify. Angry Soccer Mom. That's how black people feel every day. We are gaslighted every second of the day. I was just talking about having a seminar, and a title is, No, You're Not Crazy, It's Racism. With your people. Yeah, when I was little, I thought I was imagining things. But, because nobody told me. And I don't know why, I don't know how, but I saw it. I can't help but I saw it. And I wouldn't give it up either. I wouldn't be like, I don't know, I'm kind of stubborn, I guess. I saw it. I didn't know what it was, and I didn't get it. Anastasia, okay, where did I go? Yeah, I can't imagine. And I was a kid, I was a little kid, and I just, it's like, I kept looking back going, I don't know. Nails and Glitter, I love that title. Mr. F.S. Black. You were fortunate enough to see The Matrix for what it was at a very young age. Yeah, I do feel fortunate. I really do. Because I didn't have to unlearn anything, or like when I talked to Dixon, my friend Dixon, he had to unlearn everything because he was raised in an overtly racist. But I still, even though I wasn't raised in an overtly racist setting, I still got a lot of implicit bias just from my surroundings. I mean, like I said, when I'm watching TV and I'm 3 and I come down and I sneak around the corner, I said this in one of my videos, I look and it's the early 80s or late 70s, and I see a ton of black people with little things over their eyes being lined up by police. I'm 3. What am I going to think? Black equals bad. They were scary looking. I didn't know any black people, so that's what I got. When I pass a red-lined area and I see lots of graffiti and I see impoverished housing and I see that when I'm 4 or 5 years old, I associate that with it. You get implicit bias. It's in the air. You can't help it. So it's a really tough thing. So we all have to unlearn something. I mean, and implicit bias is for everything. But the thing is, because of the power differential, it really matters. And it's just something to be aware of. Let me see. Oh, I'm skipping people again, sorry. Have I ever done the life raft icebreaker? I've done a lot of icebreakers, but I don't know if I've done that one. If you describe it, maybe I would. Joshua, the brother in that court case was shot and killed in his home by the police 2 days later after the Yeah, are you talking about, Joshua, are you talking about the Amber Geiger trial? And the fellow that testified, and he didn't want to testify. They forced him to testify. They said they'd arrest him. He tried to leave the state. He didn't want to testify because he thought he'd get killed, and then he did. I think that's what you're talking about. If not, yeah, that was just an awful. And why? I don't know why they didn't protect him. The judge knew. She murmured it in the middle of court. Wow, I'm surprised he even showed up. She murmured that. I did a whole video on it. That was really sad. Let me see. The witness. Yeah, the witness. Okay, got it. Anastasia, I wish that in my death I'm not attacked and my white family is... I wish that in my death I'm not attacked and my family is re-victimized by my abusers. Well, I hope that doesn't happen to you. I really want to know what the plan's going to be about police brutality. I want to know. And we'll get into that tonight because Castro has a plan. And he's the only one I know has a plan. So we'll get into our actual content. A lot of what our show is hearing the voices of people who want to say what they feel. And so it doesn't mean I agree with it. It doesn't mean I don't agree with it. It's what I'm doing. That's why I do this. And also is to give some reality to folks who maybe don't know anyone but white people only. Because we are really segregated. Just like before 64, we're as segregated as ever. I mean, so, all right. Mr. F.S. Black, I just hate that when something happens to a black person at the hands of a white person, we're expected to forgive and be graceful, but it's never the other way around. Yeah, that's like a whole discussion in itself. It's not really my place to say, it's not my place to say, yeah. A lot of people had a problem with the brother. I didn't, because it's not he has to do what he has to do. I've never had my brother murdered by a police person. So I don't I don't know how to explain it. It's not my place. It would be arrogant for me to say well, he should do this. But, and again, I'm also a white person. So how do I know? I mean, I don't know. But yeah, I do feel like I get what you're saying. I don't know what the statistics are on forgiveness and saying I'm sorry, but to me, you show you're sorry, you don't say it. But there's nothing she could have done, so I don't know. That was his thing. If you want to comment on that, go ahead, I'll read it. But a lot of people were writing to me saying the same thing. Joshua, it is like a gulag, a very big gulag that stretches every city in the United States. Well, yeah, it is really tough. And part of the thing, how I learned is because a lot of the people who are in my social media stuff are all over the country. They're saying the same thing. over and over. So I hear it from other places. I hear it from other places. Like there's people from 16 different countries in my group, and I hear they don't really kind of get it, so they want to know. And then the people who are living here in the U.S., I have 3 friends who left. So I believe my friends. They don't even know each other, and they're telling me the same damn things. And Michael, you are not blocked. You are not. So we had a deal. Remember, we had a deal. Oh my gosh. And you're in trouble. The doctrine of seclusion was designed to keep the wealth out of the hands of the blacks, period. So this is why there is no economic power amongst the blacks. Well, yeah, I mean, we've always denied, we've denied different various ways throughout history legally to stop black folks from accumulating wealth. But overall, absolutely. What our real problem is, if we could just get over our freaking systemic racism, is economic. Capitalism is out of control. But we also have that, it's very convoluted. I mean, it's a mess. It's a real mess. I listen to, Leslie, yay, thanks for being here. I listen to I try to listen to the words of the people and not just speak. I'm not a leader. I'm not a savior. I'm trying to reflect the words of people in general. Black people are not a monolith. Everybody has an opinion. Once in a while, I'll get a black person to tell me where to go to hell or whatever. Sometimes it's a fake account. But not everyone's going to agree with every black person. But I want to listen to it's not about me. I want to listen to their voices. Sometimes I'll disagree, but I'll still listen to their voices. It's not my place to disagree. It's not about me. You're in trouble, Michael. You are in trouble. Lots of trouble. Okay, let me go back. So it's hard to. It's more of an art, not a. It's more of an art, not a science. Let's put it that way. Nails and glitter. I have a no more kumbaya policy. You know what? If you heard my rant, you might think I do too. People were pissed that I dared to post something, but I think people need to see it. Protecting them is doing nothing. And like I said, if you vote for war, you better be, it's kind of an analogy. You better be willing to watch a child's head be blown off, because otherwise you're voting for like a video game to be played. It's not real. It's not real. And it needs to be real to make conscious, humane choices. It needs to be real. Joshua, join in. Joshua, wow, you are very well educated. I hope you're talking to me, but maybe you're not. Maybe you're talking to Anastasia. I'm just playing around. Anastasia, there's a life raft and you're given race, sex, jobs, and marital status, but very little else. I know a game kind of like this. Well, not a game, but an experiential learning. But I'll say the black woman, disabled woman, and Spanish man, and a person with HIV were thrown off the life raft. Nice. You have to tell me more about that, because I have a friend who lives in England, and by chance she went to the school that I went to for college, and we became friends, and she's so dynamic, and she's so awesome, and she and her friend invented this cool game, and I haven't talked to her because I've been so crazy busy, but it's a really cool simulation games. Experiential games work. I have seen lives changed. They worked for me. When I was 18, I got put in a group where we had, God, it was a long time ago. I got put in a group where I had to enter a group of people, and I didn't know the norms, and these are simple little things. People just have to pull their heads out of their asses and realize it's not about us. It's about thinking of other people's feelings. And once you get it, you get it. And you drop your ego, and you don't get defensive when people say white people. You say, well, if I didn't do it, then I'm not included. You don't get defensive. But anyway, they put me in. I had to walk in, and everybody knew the norms and the way to be, and I didn't. And so, of course, I say hi to everybody, and one of the rules was you can't look into the eyes of somebody or you're really rude. And this is just about cultural differences. That was all it was. But it was very telling. And they played it out, and just little, we need to teach empathy and understanding and caring. It can be done. There are cures for all this stuff. We just don't want to. Just my take. Anastasia, the white KKK leader, cheating wife, and AWOL soldier were saved. Go figure. It sounds kind of exciting. Oh my gosh. Leslie, if you're there, jump in and just tell me what you think. Okay? Anastasia, for the most part, I feel like we are the walking dead and we are only alive until a white person feels uncomfortable. Thank you for, yeah. Thank you. Okay. Reggie, it's also denied to you, but you have, but they have you so fooled that they have poor white people thinking that they're all on the same team. Yeah, poor white folks are absolutely abused as well. I mean, absolutely abused as well. No, I was mentioning you. Oh, yay, thank you. They're abused as well because they have all the pressure of the world in that they have to learn all this stuff about racism, but a lot of times if they're in an impoverished area, they're living the same type of thing with impoverishment, but nobody gives a shit. So it's like, it's a economic problem as well, but with racism so deeply embedded in our system, it's a mess. It's just a mess. I mean, it's a mess. So, let me see. Good night, Michael. Thank you. Good night. Let me see. Joshua. We are, well, if we are seriously talking about this, we need to talk about reparations. Yeah, and part of the thing is this. I don't speak for white America. God knows, I do not speak for white America. However, I do read, and white America doesn't think they've done anything wrong. So I personally think the talk about reparations is just fluff. They're not serious about that. They're not serious about it. I don't believe them. I think they go through the motions. I'm talking about Congress, and when they get together and have a little, talk about it, they're not serious. That's just my take, because part of it is their white constituents don't even know their own racial history. Half of the adults in white America think we're in a post-racial era. We had a black president. So, I mean, I won't get off topic too much, but, I mean, it's bad. We are so not good with all this. Yeah, okay. The idea of giving African Americans whose ancestors were enslaved, I guess you're saying, wages. Yeah, I mean, they were not allowed to accumulate wealth generation after generation after generation. And it was absolutely on purpose. You should read the redlining stuff. Oh my God. I put a video out on the Vice President of the Confederacy. He did a cornerstone speech. And anyone who doubts the depths of pure hatred that was felt back then, read the transcript of the cornerstone speech. It's in a video. It's really obvious. You will be appalled, but you might get a feel for the depth of true, sick. These people truly felt that black people were not humans, were not equals. And something I'd like to bring out is our founding fathers were very much hated by the people, the vice president, because they were too progressive. Because they were pissed because they wrote the Constitution to be amended, knowing that pretty soon slavery would be ended and that it would go with the times, and that pissed them off. So they hated the Founding Fathers. I've been reading all this stuff. You wouldn't believe it. Just imagine that. The Founding Fathers, many of whom were slave owners, not all, were hated by the leaders of the Confederacy. I mean, they weren't even the same era, but because they made the Constitution so that it could be amended. I mean, I'm putting it simply, but I'm just saying. This is some crazy stuff going on in this country. The idea, okay, adjusted for two, right, okay. Cosmic, okay. I'm going to pronounce this wrong. Tosmic, I'm a phonics specialist, my God. Tosmic Cop Fennel. I'll call you Toss Me. How about that? No, I'm just kidding. I'm so bad. I just tuned in. Has there been any discussion on the DJ that knowingly infected 600 girls as young as 13 with HIV? I have not heard that story. You're welcome. We have not talked about it. You're welcome to jump on in with facts and everything, and people will jump in and if you want to bring that up, because and where, what country? Yeah, and let me know, because I didn't hear that, and I've been on the news all day long, but I miss things. Joshua, oopsie. I lost people. Joshua, friend, just paid off their reparations, but not to the, they gave reparations to the owners, right? They did, to the owning masters. I think, in my mind, and this isn't really my place to say, but what would be really, really cool right now in America is if we started dealing with the economic inequality and making equity mean something. Equity. Real equity. And I think that would help so many people. It would help everybody who's just struggling like crazy. I would like to see free colleges. I really would. If you're smart enough to make it into college, then you deserve to go to college. I mean, a lot of countries are doing that. I have a lot of kind of strange ideas, but anyway, I will keep going. Yeah, they gave reparations to the slave-owning masters. This is true. The situation with white poor people fighting for rich white people against other poor people comes from the slave and black codes. Well, yeah, and a lot of, yeah, and I'm not sure what you're getting at, but a lot of times, every time in history, when poor white folks got together with black, brown, indigenous people and started coming together and seeing a common plight, guess what the wealthiest people did? They screwed them up. And there's, throughout history, if you read Michelle Alexander's book, you'll see throughout history, whenever they start seeing a common plight, in America, we can't have it. Because then we'll unite. And honestly, I think that's our only chance right now. But, oh, sorry, not from Britain. Oh, I'm not sure what you mean, Joshua. And Anastasia, I hope I didn't misrepresent you. I wasn't sure what you were saying. Pat, they're never serious about reparations. They don't want to play the playing field equaled. Yeah, and you know what? There's a certain order of operations of mentality. And in my opinion, I guess, we're not even close. I mean, did you hear, what's his name? Was it Mitch McConnell say that nasty, absolutely ignorant crap about reparations? It was like, I know 12-year-olds who know history better than him, and he's in our government, so it's pretty bad. Our own Congress people don't know our own racial history. It's just history. We didn't do it. You didn't do it. I didn't do it. It's history. I mean, I don't get it. People are so defensive. Anastasia, exactly. Germany was ashamed, and America has never been ashamed of their brutality, whether it's to us, occupying others' land, minorities. Right. We are pretty damn shameless, I have to say. It's, yeah. I mean, what we do what we did and do to people in the LGBTQ community, we don't say sorry. We just don't. What we've done to poor folks in America, what we've done to mentally ill people in America, what we've done to black people and people who are formerly ancestors. I mean, we're ruthless. I don't get it. So maybe it's not just us. Maybe it's everybody. But you know what? I don't accept it. I'm an idealist. What can I say? Yeah, Joshua. Well, yeah, that's exactly it. To equalize good races, you need reparations. And you know, part of the thing is, it's not my place to talk about reparations, and I don't, and I won't. But I can say one thing. Nothing is going to change for anybody until the system is dismantled and built to include everybody. I'm not talking about equality. If someone's a genius and someone has like a normal IQ, you don't have to, make the genius like, it's not that. It's equity, the chance to, just the way our school systems are built right now, and funded. It's a joke. It's a cycle of poverty. The infrastructure and tax code in a wealthy town, oh my God, versus a town that doesn't have lots of businesses and lots of taxes and lots of really nice houses that are expensive that pay. It's a cycle of poverty. It is purposefully done, and it's really messed up. Really messed up. It pisses me off that a kid who's brilliant and extremely poor will not do as well as kind of an average wealthy kid. That's sick. That's not utilizing our humans. That's just ridiculous. It's just wasting people's lives. Wasting people's lives. So anyway, Reggie, 3/5 human is what it was in the Constitution. Yeah. Nails and glitter. The term white was created as a legal term to control. Absolutely. And the reason I use it is because I used to have people get mad at me for using that, and then they got mad at me for using Caucasian, and then they got mad at me for using less actively melanated, and then so it's like I just have to pick, and people can be pissed, and I'm not saying you are, but yes, white people made it up, so it's made up. It's a made up term. And also it changes, like Italian people used to be not white. Irish people used to definitely not be white. It's a convenience. Let me see. I thought you went to bed, Michael. Oh, he does, yeah. So anyway, maybe we can get to the first topic right now, if people want to watch. If you're watching over on YouTube, on Facebook, if you're watching on Facebook, you tricked me. Come on over to my YouTube channel and tell me what you think. We're going to get into some serious content. Last night's Democratic debate. Thank you again for so many people who were watching. It was crazy, 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 crazy. And interesting. What did you think about the Democratic debates last night? Tell me. According to the New York Times, these were the takeaways. I'll go over them. But if you have something to say, I'd like to hear it. Michael, nothing is free. He knows. Okay. Well, for the first time, Senator Warren, who, if I might say, I really, really like. Okay, I'm anyone but Trump. I'm an anyone but Trumpster, but let me tell you, I really like Warren. I've been watching her, and I believe her. Anyway, she got, please be nice. I have a new policy on here. people who are not here to be nice. You missed the policy. Don made me make a new policy. He suggested I make a new policy. So everyone has to be kind of nice, I guess. I read it at the beginning. But anyway, I'm going to go on. For the first time, Senator Warren got called out by a bunch of people. And since she's been up in the polls, it was kind of interesting. We all knew it was going to happen. Mr. Biden said her health care plans are vague and argued that she's never accomplished anything big, which I personally thought that made him look bad by saying mean things to people. But Mr. Buttigieg implied that she didn't trust the American people to decide whether they wanted to have private or health insurance plans. Personally, I want universal health care. I really could give it, I really could give a which one it is. If it's both, if it's what we have now is ludicrous. I've been on at least 7 different plans, so I feel like I can kind of say, and I'm talking about insurance plans. We have 0 mental health care in this country. Zippo. Try having someone in your family who's mentally ill, and you will find out fast. It is awful. Try having somebody who gets a disorder in your family. I mean a bad disorder. And look how fast you lose your money. It's absolutely criminal. Where my friends who are actually living in Canada and in England, one of them called me up and goes, ha, 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 ha. I'm having, not an appendicitis, having my appendix out. Guess how much I had to pay? I mean, they were just teasing me. It wasn't that. It was some surgery. They're like, nothing. And I was like, oh, geez. Yep. Corporations aren't people, and they do not need to be people. They don't have a heart, and they don't give a shit. And we have been taken over by big corporations, and it may be too late. So then Senator Amy Klobuchar said she denounced Warren's plans as a pipe dream. So, I mean, and then this was kind of interesting. What did you guys think? What did you think? Senator Kamala Harris wanted to know why Miss Warren, she didn't join her to ban or bar President Trump from Twitter from having his own social media platform, which is basically state news. I don't know. What did you guys think of that? I mean, the responsibility of corporations. I mean, we know what they do on Facebook. They boot you off if you say white. They boot you off if you say black. They boot you off if it's because, and that's because Facebook's policy is this. And I did a video on it. Facebook's policy is very interesting. Its policy is that all groups of people are equally oppressed, which is absolutely, completely not true. So when you say white people, you're saying a bad word. When you say black people, you're saying a bad word. And their policy is ludicrous. I don't even get into it. But anyway, then Biden, this was kind of the take. Somebody is commenting on something other than, I will go back. Apologize. Yeah, here's the thing. Let me just go back really quickly to the rules. Here are the rules. If you're here to learn or educate, then you're in the right place. If you're here to just not learn and not educate, but be a jerk, you gotta go. And Don helped me form that very complex rule, but I'd really appreciate it if everybody would stick with the topic. And you don't have to agree with everything, but I don't want to get derailed, and I don't want the viewers to get derailed. It's just be respectful, okay? Please, I'd appreciate that. Okay. Thank you, Pat. Thank you. So I wanted to read a couple of things. Mr. Eves Black. Corporations run things more than many people know or even want to admit. Yeah, it's tough. The little guy does not stand a chance. I think Warren practiced too hard on her persuasive speeches, and they're not from her heart. Interesting. I've heard people say that. I've seen her so much that I don't know. I believe her. She seems sincere to me. But yeah, everyone has their own take. You gotta whatever. Yeah, let's not antagonize on her, please, out of respect for everybody. I'd appreciate it. Okay. The next thing is Biden kind of got off light. No one was really messing with him too much. And James says, I agree. She said that supporting billionaire thing which was nonsense. Tell me more, because she was the first person I heard say she will not take one single check from PAC money in this election. She will not. I heard her announce it. She was the very first person to announce that. So tell me more, because I've heard that before. She said that not taking 1 cent from big business or PAC money or anything like that. So tell me, James, tell me what you mean. I want to know. He got off light, and it kind of made me sad because I think people are kind of giving up on him. Just my take. Sanders came out and showed everybody that he's feeling better despite his heart attack, so that was cool. And Buttigieg, they said, this is the came out and kind of was a little bit, he was a little bit kind of, a little toughy there to Beto O'Rourke on the guns, and he was to Tulsi Gabbard on foreign policy. So I think, some of the people are getting desperate because they don't have their, the numbers. So there's some politics. Anastasia, I like Bernie. To me, he and Warren can handle Trump, but Biden is a loser. Yeah. Here's part of the thing. Here's part of the thing. Biden keeps kind of stumbling and acting like he's going out of it. So maybe he's not doing so great. I'm not sure. But let me see. I don't think this debate was a game changer. What do you guys think? I really, really don't think it was a game changer for anybody, really. I'm not sure. It's really early. I want to learn more about what people are saying about Elizabeth Warren. I've been following her for a while, but anyway, I wanted to get into the next topic, and we have a lot to talk about. So I'm going to race through it. Please tell me what you think about this topic. It's civil rights for LGBTQ folks, which impacts everybody. 2 weeks ago, we talked about this, about a pending Supreme Court case that would decide if Title VII of the Civil Rights Act of 1964 would protect people in the LGBTQ community from discrimination in the workplace. And here's the scoop. It's unbelievable. Both sides of the court are fighting, and they're fighting that it doesn't include that sex, sorry I had to say it, is not included as the people who wrote that could never have been thinking about including people who are born transgender. And then the other side is saying it doesn't matter if they're being born transgender and that's their identity, then, basically the argument is going to come down to whether people want to be a bigot or not. I'm sorry, I just said it. It's the truth. Biden is still mentally living in the 80s. Yeah, Derek, I had a little bit of a problem with him when he said that thing about all the poor kids who are black. I mean, he truly hasn't really, like, I don't know. It appears that he hasn't kind of like educated himself with the times a little bit. It just seems like he hasn't. So, I mean, I totally know what you mean. It was Joshua. It was a game changer for. He was attacked and was attacked then by Trump, of course. Biden. Okay, Biden. Yeah. He spoke out about his son, and I think he did well. He didn't overdo it, underdo it. But yeah, I think Trump kind of did that. But yeah. Trump's doing him in. I mean, Trump's such a scaredy bully. It's just terrifying. But let me see. Anastasia, it was a trick. She raised enough money already and has a slush fund, so she didn't need the money, but she's taking money. Bernie isn't. All right, tell me more, Anastasia, because I kind of not really able to follow all this stuff with the money because there's too many things going on. It's like, but let me see, James. Biden has a sensibility and balance that I like, even though, I'm forgetting. You know what? For me, Biden is status quo. Biden is not going to make changes and do. I personally want someone in there who's going to help us catch up to being human. And that is big changes in the way, oh God, so many things I can't even name them. He reminds me of middle of the road status quo. He's just one of the players to me. But that's just my take. But let me see. But yeah, I mean, I absolutely, he's just even killed, and he's easy. And he will get lots of Trump supporters who say, "Oh yeah, he's not gonna do anything." You know, they'll like him, I guess. Derek, I can't get over what Biden did to Anita Hill. Now that's a whole other story. If you want to talk about that, bring it up. I know a little bit about it, but not much. There's just too much news. There's too much news going around. Joshua, it was, Anastasia. Biden supported segregation and works with racists. He made that horrible crime bill that directly affected people that look like me. His son and daughter were, on coke, so he made the crack drug higher. I think that I don't know a lot about him, but I do remember he was against the busing, which Kamala brought up, and I don't know if he was against desegregation or just busing as a way to desegregate. I don't know, because I didn't follow politics back then. Like, I was kind of little, I think. Yeah, I was kind of. Oh yeah, she was. Okay, I was little. Yes, that's my excuse. James, I have to Google that myself. Yeah, well, definitely bring it on. I want to hear everything. Let me see. I apologize if I skipped people. Okay. James, coke is pretty a mild drug. I've never tried crack, but I can tell you it seems much more addicting. Yeah, well, okay. Definitely, I don't know much about it, but I do know that there's some real inequality. So let me tell you what's going on, and then we will get to some of these cases that we're doing. So 2 weeks ago, we talked about the pending civil rights case, Title VII for the Civil Rights Act. If you could, basically, we're fighting for the right for people in the LGBTQ community to not get fired and legally have it okay because they were born gay or transgender. It's just like ridiculous. I'm sorry. That is the most inhumane thing, that we in America don't have that already. Like, my God, what is wrong with us? But we have Trump now, and we have the people who support being rotten to people who are born in the LGBTQ community, and there are a ton of them. In yet another attack on the LGBT community, the Trump administration is purposefully trying to push that federally funded homeless shelters can deny services to transgender people. Nearly 1 out of every 3 transgender people in America who responded to a 2015 survey have experienced homelessness. Requiring transgender people to stay in shelters that don't match their gender identity puts them at further risk for violence, harassment, and this is all according to the National Center for Transgender Equality, but it's also according to common sense. Anyone who reads, transgender folks are extremely vulnerable, and even more so if they are people of color, if they are black. It is very dangerous in America to be transgender. Now you might say, not as dangerous as, places that will kill you and put you to death. However, whatever happened to liberty and justice for all? Whatever happened to equality? Or, my God, just because people are too insecure with their own sexuality that they can't handle someone being born transgender, give me a break. So they have to take away their human rights? That's disgusting. Most people who are against transgender people, which I think is just a joke, it's like being against humans, don't know a single solitary person who's transgender well. Go figure. If you know a person who's born transgender, then you will know it is not a choice. Who in the world would choose that with all the nasty, sicko people around? Anastasia, 28 transgender women have been killed this year. It is epidemic. Absolutely epidemic. And it's heartbreaking. It is consistently more dangerous for the safety of the actual person who is transgender to be forced to use the bathroom that does not coincide with their identity. It is dangerous. The stats are not even close. Apparently, this is like, you guys are all going to say, duh! People who do rotten things like murder people, they go for the weakest folks in our community where they know people aren't going to care. And that is just messed up. I have a whole special on where are all our black girls and women. The staggeringly disproportionate to those in the community. Really bad. So, as many of you know, our nation has a horrific, they're soft targets, right? Good, exactly. Thank you guys for, I was pretty poor when I used coke. It was a social drug. Crack is a more dangerous drug. Oh, you guys are like talking drugs. I know nothing. But definitely talk amongst yourselves. It's, as you know, we have a horrible issue with the murder of transgender people, and especially if they're black or brown. Next topic. The OK hand sign is now officially. Oh no, James, you're fine. Absolutely. This is your show too. Talk about whatever you want. I love it. I love it when everyone talks and, I'm just blabbing. The OK hand sign, which I'm not going to do it, according to the Anti-Defamation League, has added a commonly used gesture, the OK sign, signifying that it is a white supremacist, is now officially with dozens of other images and symbols in their database. They've changed them and they keep track of them, and these symbols have appeared at white supremacy events. James, you know what? I think it is a newer topic to a lot of people and they don't get it. And you know what I suggest to people who don't get it? It's like when I didn't understand the Muslim faith, I went to a mosque for 5 hours. You cannot get your news, and I know you know this, from social media. That is not where you get your religious information. It is not where you get your facts. It is not where you get your research. It's not new. It's been around forever, since the beginning of time. Our society has fluctuated by completely accepting, not accepting, completely accepting. It's been like incredibly kind of fluctuating. Very strange. And now they're finding their voice. But it's always since, anecdotally, since the, Stone Age, I guess you could say, people have researched, and they've always been here. It's just whether or not they've been vocal. Dave Chappelle said it too. I kind of just don't care. I know it's not a warm and fuzzy, but I'm too busy watching the police. Fair enough. I'm here to hear what you think, and that's what you think, and I absolutely get it. Yeah, James, absolutely. The discussion is, yeah, absolutely. Us discussing it, saying the words, you should hear the kids. I mean, James, I don't know how old you are, but the kids know all this shit. I mean, like, if I misgender somebody, oh my God, hang me. And I'm learning, but it is a whole nother language, and it's a whole nother level of sensitivity. And personally, I love it. And I'm sure a lot of people don't, but I do. I think it's about stinking time we gave a shit about our fellow humans. Not just black, white, brown, indigenous, but disabled, mentally ill, people who were not born straight, just everything. For me, but you see, I'm not having to worry about going out and being murdered by a police. I mean, it could happen, but not at the disproportionate rates that it is happening to others. I am not afraid to walk out my freaking door because I think a police is going to look at me, look at my skin, and say, you know what, that's a bad guy. And I am not advocating everyone else. Everyone else got to do what they need to do to take care of themselves. But for me, I'm kind of into all of it. And that is my privilege to be able to do it. And that's why I do it. It's the least I can do. So, I don't know if that's making sense at all. So check this out. This is really important, according to the Anti-Defamation League and a lot of other places, that you know the symbols that there's some symbols I didn't know existed. They've appeared at white supremacy events, including Unite the Right rally in Charlottesville. Some of the symbols were also painted on the gun used by the mass shooter, Brenton Tarrant, who who killed 51 people at a mosque in New Zealand. These people are being influenced by our president and by other people who have hatred on their mind. And extremists, they continue to use symbols that morph over the years, but they use the old ones too, so they're always creating new ones, memes, slogans, etc., for hateful sentiment. The ADL says that we believe law enforcement and the public need to be fully informed about, and this is a quote, the meaning of these images, which can serve as a first warning sign to the presence of a hater in a community or school. So what they are saying is people need to know the newest signs, slogans, sayings, looks that are saying something. They are symbols of white supremacy. You see it. It's usually a first warning sign. That's what they're saying. I was reading their article today. New symbols include the Dylan Roof bowl cut. I did not know that. His hairstyle, the hairstyle worn by that kid who murdered 9 people in a church. His hair, it's like kind of straight across like a bowl. That's what white supremacists are now wearing to signify, I'm a white supremacist. And that's what's on record, a new hairstyle. Roof admirers use this hairstyle, or this haircut, to, and there's an emoji bowl cut. Yep. To refer to themselves, they're using the word bowl in screen names to try to hint. They want to hook up with each other and be hateful buddies or sickos. The OK gesture is among some of the new entries. The symbol is used in some circles as a sincere expression of white supremacy. Didn't know there was any such thing. Kitchen politics. Hello. Oh, the Confederate. Thank you, Pat. The Confederate flag. That's an old one, and it's still used. It's still on the Mississippi flag, if I'm not mistaken. We got some serious issues in this country. God, like I need to tell you. So when making the gesture, 3 fingers form a W for white and the circle, and wrist form a P for power. Please be safe and careful. The Tarrant kid who went to court in New Zealand apparently was pulling this crap in court. I mean, these people are just deranged. I don't even know what to say. Let me get to some comments. Let me see. Joshua, the last time in Western civilization gays were okay was ancient Greece, but it's I was still like looked down upon to be the man on the bottom. I don't know if anyone's heard about Achilles or I cannot read what you wrote. I'm so sorry, Achilles. But yeah, interesting. I mean, there's a long history of folks who are gay and thought to be, and a lot of anecdotal stuff. But yeah, I haven't really studied it much, to be honest. Just a teeny bit. James. Joshua, Achilles' cousin. James. Imagine how many people in history have to live unhappy because they had to hide being gay. Oh, God. And today. How many people today also? But yeah, can you imagine? The whole thing is just ridiculous. It's like, do you remember, this is what I say to people? You guys are going to think I'm the nastiest person on the planet. When people are like that, I say, do you remember what you were doing when you told your parents and sat them down and do you remember what you were doing, the date when you told them you were straight? Of course not. It's not a choice. Don't be an idiot. It's like, I don't say that, but I just, it's a, let's just say it's something that is very, very much, means a lot to me, for many reasons. Yeah, James, I can't imagine. I cannot imagine. I've seen documentaries. And stuff like that. I've seen that on there. Of people talking of how hard it was. How incredibly hard it was. Anastasia, it's like cops killing black people that didn't just start, or white people calling the cops on us. It's just being videotaped now. Society has always discussed them, and they've always been fighting, but even, let me see, whoa. I'm looking for your, even the LGBTQ and community is discriminating against them. Yes, there's a lot of there's a lot of issues. Absolutely. Anastasia, you are so knowledgeable. I love it. So knowledgeable. Kitchen politics. Riding bicycle home from a 14-hour shift. Did you miss anything? Kitchen politics, you are right on time. You missed nothing. You are fine. Yes, I hate being in Mississippi. They're racist. They have a flag that yeah. The term "we were hags" is a white supremacy dog whistle. Oh, I don't know about that one either. We can thank Christianity and Islam. Well, yeah, we can blame anybody here and there, but as long as people take personal responsibility to stand up against that kind of thing, then it doesn't really matter who did it, who started it, it's here. The OK sign at Kavanaugh's hearing and they did the OK sign at Kavanaugh's hearing in a pic with Amber Geiger. Yeah, Anastasia, I post, yeah, she was in a picture with somebody doing the OK sign. She was also in a picture with somebody saying all lives matter, which is obviously pretty obnoxious. It's like, no, if they did, we wouldn't have to have Black Lives Matter. If all lives matter, we wouldn't have to have that. slogan. We wouldn't have to have that campaign. So it's like, the whole thing's ridiculous. She was in 2 of those pictures. And then she was also in a misrepresented, it wasn't her, in a picture with him. A lot of people thought that they saw a picture of Amber Geiger with Botham Jean. It was somebody who looked like her. It was not her, just to clarify, because I've been looking into it. The next topic, if you can bear with me, Trump claims that he is not provoking violence. Okay, sorry. Mr. F. S. Black, Derek, it's their way of mocking us when we bring up history and accomplishments of black people. Donald Trump has repeatedly refused to accept, I mean, this isn't going to be a shock to anybody, responsibility for inciting violence in American communities. So, guess what? Somebody did a little research. He denies and he dismisses critics who tell him his rhetoric is a potential and has caused inspiration for some citizens to act out their long-held, sick, overt, messed up, scary beliefs about bigotry, racism, and hate. And he's been quoted as saying, I think my rhetoric brings people together. Okay, it's just ridiculous. So, guess what? ABC News did a nationwide review and has identified at least 29 criminal cases where Trump invoked in a direct connection violent acts, threats, violences, or allegations of assault. Direct. Why do I say this? You will see. In 9 of the cases, the perpetrators hailed Trump in the midst or immediate aftermath of their physical attack on innocent people. In 10 cases, the perpetrator cheered or defended Trump while taunting or threatening others. And in another 10 cases, Trump and his rhetoric were actually cited in court to explain a defendant's violent or threatening behavior. It's on record. 29 cases identified by ABC News reporters are remarkable in that there is a link to the president, either captured in a court document, a police statement, or told under penalty of perjury or contempt. So these are not hearsay. These are documented facts. The perpetrator and the suspects identified in the cases are mostly white men, from very young teenagers all the way to 75, while the victims in these cases that have quoted Trump as being the actual inspiration, either in a court case or by police or under affidavit and a sworn statement. While the victims, you guessed it, largely represent an array of numerical minority groups and people who have been historically marginalized, African American people, Latinos, Muslims, gay men. He is absolutely causing horrific things to be done. Think about how many cases that we don't know about that were thwarted of people who were inspired by Trump to harm people. I mean, just think alone about this, the Congress people, the House of Representatives people who've been threatened with real threats. Anastasia, I live 2 blocks from USM and they protest every month because they won't fly the state flag. Really? Wow. Protests because they won't fly it? I wouldn't fly it. What? I'd be like, what a... I definitely wouldn't fly it. I don't get that. A lot of people, James, a lot of people just need to feel special or better. Yeah, it's like they feel so bad about themselves, even something false, that they were born white by accident. They didn't do it. You didn't earn that. You didn't work for that. There's no, it's like I say, if the best thing you've ever done in your life is to be born white, you got some serious issues. That's really sad. Nails and glitter. And the I didn't own slaves racism is so over BS. Yeah, of course it is. It's just, yeah, I don't know why people love to cling to this. Mr. F.S. Black, how anyone can still take anything Agent Orange says seriously is beyond me. Yeah, I don't get it. It's like, that's, I don't get it. I don't get it. Blah. Yeah, me too. James. He also literally asked someone to commit assault and offered to pay his legal. Right. I had that in my last video too, because he said, and then he confirmed it on the news with a reporter who said, "Are you going to pay his legal bills?" And he said, "I've told my people to look into it." So I mean, he is a pathetic bully. People liked him because he wasn't politically correct. Yeah, here's the thing. Being politically correct means that you're just basically pretending you think one thing and you don't think it at all. Some people actually do want equality. Some people actually do want equity. They do want, so that's not being, people who talk like that about PC and all that, not you obviously, but it's because they can't fathom the idea that someone would actually give a shit about their fellow humans. So they think, well, they're just being PC. Some people actually care, and when people who don't are PC, they are liars because they're full of it, and that is pathetic. I'm not PC, not one bit. What I say is how I feel. So that whole PC thing, I could go on and on. But right, yeah, and James, absolutely. Pat, it's racist and they took the flag down. Yeah, probably. That's Nails and Glitter. Hey, did tell the truth about hating the job. Oh, that's true. Okay, I got it. Yeah, he did. That's true. I mean, sometimes he does tell the truth sometimes. It just slips out by accident. But mostly, you know when he's lying is when he opens his mouth. But every once in a while, he'll get this like lucid moment where he's like, says something that is like, oh, it's just so scary. But I'm not holding my breath for him. Next topic, if you can bear with me a little bit longer. This is a really tough, sad one. And I want to know what you think. If you are watching on Facebook, get your butt over here to my YouTube channel so that you can join in the conversation. Yes, that's my quote of the day, Derek. I have that in 4 videos. Yep, Lyndon B. Johnson. If you can convince and this is antiquated language, so don't jump on me. It's, thank you, Derek. If you convince the lowest white man he's better than the best colored man, he won't notice you're picking his pocket. Hell, give him someone to look down upon, and he'll empty his pockets for you. Lyndon B. Johnson. Quote, check it, Snopes it, he said it. Not that Snopes is always right, but, okay? He got it. He got the gig, the joke. We're suckers. White folks are suckers for falling for this bullshit, and we do it. Every generation. Derek, you got me going. Stop that right now. You heard a guy use the word colored the other day? Oh my God. That is just like freaky. I would want to like interview somebody like that and just go like, ugh. But yeah, oh God, I mean, I always want to interview like super, super racist people because I want to understand them, and not to be mean to them, but to understand them. So if you know somebody who's really, 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 really off the charts racist, let me interview them, because I will just, it's just, well, I did an interview at a Trump rally, and it was so crazy. If you ever want like a scary show, watch it. It's on my YouTube. It was really scary. They thought I was a Trump supporter and a racist like they were because I'm white. They didn't even ask. They're like, oh, come on. I'm like, well, anyway, it's a long story. An old man, he was very nice. He said, I see you have a new guy on your crew. What? That colored guy. Oh, wow. I had somebody working for us for something, we needed some help, and they said, this was like 10 years ago, and they said, colored person, and my jaw must have gone smack when it hit the floor. My oldest was there. She was like, I was like, oh my God, it was horrible. Just once, that happened once. We couldn't freaking believe it. We were flipping shit. We were going crazy. Anastasia, it's just so crazy. Well, you know what they are going to call me, right? Oh, me? Oh, I do. They call me all the time stuff. I get called lots of stuff, but I mean, whatever. It's like, oh, Pat, you're talking to me? Yeah, I do. Yeah, I've actually been called things that I don't even know what they mean. So I have to kind of like ask my friends what they mean. Because I'm like, I know that's supposed to be a real insult, but I'd never heard of that one. Pat, are you going to tell me? I have a feeling you're going to tell me. Anastasia, but being PC started with thinking exactly like the government, Marxist-Leninist vocabulary following the Russian Revolution in 1917. At that time, it was used to describe adherence to the policies. James, I don't hate him for it. I wonder how a black person would have felt about it. Yeah. I mean, like, I can't speak for anyone who's black, but when old people do that, I think it's really sad. I don't know people's hearts. No one knows someone's heart. But it's just really sad. But I don't know their heart. They could, I mean, I don't know. That's not my place, really. Anastasia. But James, I understand what you're saying. It's like, I don't know. Anastasia, principles of Communist Party of the Soviet Union, that is the party line. Interesting. Can I ask some of you blacks that are here? Do you want to, James, you have a question for people who are African American, black, indigenous, mix, non-Caucasian, whatever. If you have a question, I'm sure if it's appropriate, absolutely. I mean, I can't answer for anybody, but people, you know. Pat, you can't tell me here, but you will. Thanks. I bet I'll beat you to it. I get the people on YouTube are really bad. I want to know if that infuriates that he said that. Oh, okay. Okay, thanks, Pat. Pat's saying ask away, and I want to make sure I understand your question. James, I want to know if that infuriates. Okay, James, I'm not sure 100% what you're saying. Are you saying you want to know if it infuriates people to hear the word colored? If it like makes you really, really pissed if you're a person who's non-white? Is that what you're asking? That's a good question. I mean, and you'll get 20,000 different answers, but yeah. If that's what you're asking, I'm not trying to misrepresent you, but yeah, it's a good question. We're all here to learn. Or is it understandable? Oh, are people offended by that, basically? I'm white, and I am, because that's antiquated language, and antiquated language for a lot of things carry the power of such depth of harm. But yeah, it's not for me to answer. I want somebody, I guess he's asking. That's a great question. I'm happy you asked it. I don't know if anyone will answer it, but maybe they will. So if you're an accomplice, then hell yes, you should hate them for it. I do. We don't need passive bystanders. Yeah. I mean, I hate them, but not hate. Like, I feel they're pathetic. I don't know how to explain it. Like, I kind of pity them. I don't know. I try to educate people. Pat, well, yeah, Pat says, Derek, it has a lot of racial baggage. Yeah, great point. Right. And Pat says, yeah, well, a lot of people don't like the colored thing. Yeah, it's derogatory. It's derogatory and ignorant. And you see, part of it is and I'm not really one to explain or teach, but from what I know, black is better. So people get very offended with black, but not many. So I mean, it's just you sometimes can't win, but you definitely can't win when you use antiquated language. Nails and glitter. I live in an extremely white area, so I must pick my battles. But there are women I won't schedule. Period. Oh, because you're a okay, I get it. Just yeah, you get to pick and choose, and you do not have to be put through that. Why would you? Yeah, I definitely. As a white person, I'm privileged enough to say that unless I was desperate and dying, I don't want an overtly racist person as a plumber, I mean, that's privilege. But no, I don't. I literally do not. Yeah. Now, nails and glitter. I'm in the service industry and I work for myself, so it depends. Yeah, right. And definitely, I work at home, so I don't have to deal with anybody. James, he was only describing the man's appearance to be fair. You should have said black. True, but I doubt he meant to belittle him. Yeah, it's, and I can't speak for non-white folks, but a lot of older people kind of stay in the past, and they don't really get it, and so they're using these like horrifically they're just same old. They're out of it. They're ignorant. But again, you know, I don't know people's hearts. Nobody knows somebody's heart except they themselves and if they believe in God. So you can't judge it. Just keep teaching, I guess. No, it's okay. I'm glad you asked. Nails and glitter. I'm black, but when they're super old, you aren't changing it. Yeah, it's really hard to change it. Like, people don't even get that they don't understand, like, the N-word. My God, that carries the power of thousands and thousands of brutalized, millions of brutalized lives. That word isn't just a word. Sometimes words carry power. And because of the crimes against humanity that were done to people who we forced into a slave status, we have to understand they're not just words. Like, it's sick. I mean, it's oppression. It's really bad. Okay. Oh, okay. Let me see. My kids are biracial, and I am protective of them as well. Absolutely. Anastasia, it depends on how you say black, because people have a way of trying to put you back in your place. Yeah, I mean, absolutely. Anastasia, you are not black, and rationalizing is typical. I'm not sure if you're talking to me, and if you are, tell me what the rationalization that I did was, please, because I'm kind of like all over the place. I'm not sure. And if you're talking to somebody else, maybe you could tell them too. It is really hard to, and we'll never know what it feels like, no matter how hard we study, no matter how many great friends we have. If you're white, we will never know. But we can try, and we can learn, and we can not be defensive, and that's a really good start. And we can educate ourselves. So, yeah, those black kids, yeah, that'll get you black. Yeah, right. I mean, obviously, if you're being nasty, it's really obvious. Yeah. Anastasia, yes, you'll get over it, but he has kids and grandkids that he said that around, which keeps it alive. And that's part of the thing. You're asking really good questions, and I appreciate everybody jumping in and helping. Oh, you weren't okay. Thanks, Anastasia. But if you were, you could tell me, because I'm not perfect. Here's the thing. There's the culture of, there's a cycle of poverty that people get stuck in because of how our government is. And because of many factors, there's a cycle of racism that passes on to the next generation. And it is a very strong one, very strong. And so what Anastasia was saying, yes, you'll get over it, but he has kids and grandkids that he's said that around, and they will keep it alive. And it is very easy to get indoctrinated very young at birth if you're white. So this is a really complicated thing. It seems so simple, but it's really not. Derek, I would equate someone calling colored to them as calling a grown man boy. Oh, okay, that's your, but yeah. I mean, I guess let me think about that. If it was a black person that you were calling boy, that's historically a horrific thing. But so is calling them, yeah, I mean, yeah, definitely. Good points. Good points. Thank you guys so much for bringing up great points. Pat. Oh, Nails and Glitter says, okay, Anastasia, exactly, Derek. Nails and Glitter says, Derek, it can be. Thank you for teaching, because remember, people who are in numerical minority groups or in historically marginalized groups have absolutely no, obligation to teach anyone anything. And that, when they do, it's a gift. So, I mean, I know this is going to sound nerdy, but I consider this conversation a gift. That it's a gift, because you don't have to live it every single day and then go teach the oppressor. It's like, oh my God. But no, it's like to learn from somebody is, let me see. Pat, well, there's a lot of defensive white people who think that they're being attacked when that's just not the case. Well, like, who is it that said it last time? I think it was, oh, I can't remember who said it. They said, in a society of white supremacy, it feels like oppression when people are called out for their, inappropriate racism. It feels like you're being oppressed because you're so, as a person in power with privilege, you're so used to it's all about you that even just equity and equality and feels like oppression. So a lot of white people are like, oh, white people have it so bad, and it's like they're confused. They're really confused. So if you, just to jump in, if you are watching on Facebook, get your butt over here to YouTube so you can join in the conversation, okay? And I would love it if you would join us. Yes, there are a lot of defensiveness is like the number one thing stopping people from learning, white folks. It's like, it stops us from learning. We're so defensive. And it's natural. You got to work at undoing your defensiveness. You got to drop your ego at the door, white folks, and say, it is not about me. And then, when you get defensive again, you got to say it to yourself again. It's not about me. And then you'll do it again and again. It's a long-ass learning curve, and it's not pretty. James, she meant me, I think. I don't mean to. I have heard seriously racist things in construction and in jail and lower places, so I can tell when the inflection is malicious. Okay. See what I mean, Kim? This is why I've given up, because, oh, hang on a second, I skipped something. Sorry. Wow. Nails and Glitter. I've also learned the hard way that white people can't be corrected by me. They must be corrected by a white person. Now, yeah, I mean, here's the thing. It makes me really sad and kind of sick that I can say something because I've learned it from my friends. And a person who is a black person who lives it every single day can say the same freaking thing, and people don't listen. That's disgusting, I would be enraged if somebody did that to me. I would be fucking enraged. I'd lose it. I think it's disgusting. It makes me really, really angry. And that is why some of the things I want to do is try to use my privilege to hear what the voices of people who deserve to talk. And so, no, I don't always agree with everything everyone says, but it doesn't matter. It's not about me. It's not about me. So, yeah, I can't imagine. I'm sorry that's been your experience, Nails and Glitter. I mean, I'm trying to think. It's kind of funny because I'm white and they don't listen to me. It's like, Jesus. They don't. I mean, but you know what? I've had some really, really cool successes, so I can't really say that they don't listen to me. I mean, it's just a really tough, it's an art, not a science, that's for sure. James, I hope this sort of thing will be much less common in the next generation. I think it will. I think every generation will do just a little bit better. And, you know, I don't know what will come, but that's just my white perspective. Don't take it from me. I mean, it seems to me that the only favor Trump's done for us is he's brought it out on the table. And now white folks, you really can't hide from it, I guess. You can't really hide. You can pretend you don't know about it, but he's kind of brought it out. You know, the president's like overtly racist, like, dang, you know. So I hope so too. Anastasia, see what I mean, Kim? This is why I've given up, because I just said it was offensive in any connotation, but there's a rationalization of the offense. I missed that. I missed that, somebody rationalizing it. Because here's the thing. There is no, like, it's not the place of a white person to tell a person who lives this every single day that their feeling is not legit, or to even confirm that your feeling is legit. I agree. You know, it's not like their feeling is their feeling. They get to feel however the hell they want. It's not our place. So it's a lot of learning. We're all going to make mistakes, but just keep trying and do the best you can. That's all we can do. So I didn't see what you were referring to, but I understand what you're referring to. Okay, let me just see. I hope that made sense. I'm just blabbing now. Yeah, it's got to get very, very old. Okay. Oh my gosh, I've skipped so many. I'm sorry. I'll look back in a minute. I apologize. I'm getting a little flustered here. It feels like a zero-sum game to the oppressor when things become equal. Yeah, we're kind of used to like ruling the roost, and it, to some people it does feel like equality feels like oppression, or equity feels like oppression, especially to a white person who's poor, or who was poor, or who's grown up poor, because white privilege is not the same for everybody. If you're a very impoverished white person, you still have white privilege, but not the way, it's not all even for everybody. Socioeconomics is huge, absolutely huge. So it's complicated. Nails and glitter. Okay. Got it. Pat. Jane Elliott said it. Okay, I love Jane Elliott. Said it best. White people don't want to admit the fact that racism is going on. They know it and they don't want it to happen to them, but they continue to do it to blacks. Yeah, I mean, her big thing was, she said, people are in denial of racism. because she always says to her audience, raise your hand if you'd like to be treated the way we treat black people in America. And she has, an audience of hundreds of people, and nobody raises their hand. And then she says, so let's not pretend you don't know. Okay? And that's that. Thank you, Pat, for that. James, that's why I asked. Maybe I shouldn't have. No, you're okay. No. James, I mean, I can't speak for everybody, but that is what we're here for. That's what we're here for, to have a conversation about racism, bigotry, and inequality in a mixed setting with a bunch of people who just want to learn and care. You did perfect. I feel like I was clarifying, not rationalizing. I have no way to know how it feels for a black person. Right. No, I personally think you're doing great. You're doing a hell of a lot better than most folks today. I don't have absolutely. Just, it's hard to hear any sort of criticism because, your heart's in the right place. But don't worry about it. You're doing great. You'll learn. You're perfect. Let me see. Anastasia, yes, Kim. He did consciously SJW a favor. Now everyone can see this crap. Trump is a mirror for this country. Good point. He really is. Nails and glitter. Yes, Trump is an accurate representation of what a lot of white people want. Yep. And it's the only favor he's kind of done is he's forced it out on the table. He's forced it out on the table, so yay him. He likes to be the best. Well, fortunately, that's not a great thing to have happen. But Derek, I found it interesting when Obama was president, there were actually people projecting their emotions. Some people actually thought Obama was going to put them in FEMA trailers. Are you talking about white folks were so afraid of having a president that was his father was an African man and his mother was a Caucasian lady, and that since he was considered a black guy, that he was going to do something to them? People are irrational. It's the black people don't do stuff to us. We do stuff to them. We're the people who are in power. People project a lot onto psychology. Here is crazy. Sure, there are black people who have done stuff to white people, of course, but I'm talking in general, the power base. I'm always talking in general. I'm talking about a system. I really don't talk much about individuals. Of course, individually, different things can happen, but a system. So I'm going to try to wrap equity. To them, equity equals oppression, right? Because they're so used to having this false sense of superiority. I don't get it, but yeah, basically. So this young woman, a Tatiana Jefferson, a 28-year-old woman, was fatally shot in her Fort Worth home by a white police officer through a closed window. The officer resigned Monday and then was later charged with murder. Last night's debate, Castro was the only candidate to bring up cases of police brutality. He's been tweeting a lot about this, apparently. I'll read a couple of his tweets before we say goodnight. We've all heard the names and seen the videos. Eric Garner, Tamara Rice, Sandra Bland, LaQuaine McDonald, Pamela Turner, Antonio Arce, and now Botham Jean. Nails and glitter. White people also think we want revenge, and we really just want y'all to leave us alone. Pat, but you can't get the average white person to see that it's in a systemic way. Yeah, you're telling me, oh my God, I pull my hair out trying to they won't listen. Some people do. And it's oh my God, so refreshing. And I don't know why. Castro said police violence is a gun issue. Nails and glitter, so difficult. Oh, I can't imagine. Yeah, Castro, he was bringing it up. He does seem to sway that way, and I don't know a lot about him. I just was reading an article today. He's saying, what's it going to take? The police should serve and protect everybody, but the system wasn't built to work that way. We know police lock up or kill black and brown people at disproportionate rates. So he's bringing that out, and the nuances of his take, I don't really know much about. Police violence is a racism power issue. Absolutely. He says we need police reform that will end disparities and criminal justice reform to end mass incarceration. So he's bringing the topic up, and he's one of the only ones that is really pushing that topic. He said, I was proud to be the first candidate to put forward a police reform plan. We can mend the rift that too often exists between police and the communities they serve. Now, to me, that's kind of making light of it. The rift? Excuse me. The systemic racism that is the basis and culture of our nation. But he's a politician, so maybe he's putting it nicely. Although Secretary Castro has a comprehensive plan for reform, not all the candidates do. Castro has a video on YouTube if you want to see it. It's kind of vague. Personally, I'd love to see all the Democratic candidates debate and actually have their own debate, an information session on just this issue. I want to know what they're going to do to help stop and dismantle systemic racism. Derek, the FBI said that the police force across the U.S. have been infiltrated by white supremacy. Yes, absolutely. Our own you can look up the report yourself. Yep, I've read it. We have been infiltrated 10 years ago. They looked into it. They caught a couple people. I think it's pretty obvious. A great point for bringing that up. Thanks. I actually brought that up at other shows, but it's like I hate to repeat myself continuously, but that is perfect. Yep. And what's going on is they really didn't go much further into, it's systemic. It's all over. It's not everyone, but it's really pervasive. Pat, well, they can start with the 13th and the 14th Amendment. That would be a start. Yeah. Most people think that all slavery is illegal, and that's not true. In the United States, if you are incarcerated, you can be enslaved. And that is very purposeful. And we won't go into it now, but it is something that folks need to know. Nails and glitter. Yep, it's a domestic terrorism risk. I did 2 videos on this. We have solutions. We just don't want to use them. We have solutions. There are nations in this country right now who have high crime rates, and black people are not killed by police. They just aren't. Slavery by Another Name is a good documentary. Yes, and a good book, too. Thank you for that. Really good book. Prisoners still pick cotton. Oh, that's disgusting. God, yeah. This nation has some issues, and a lot of people are giving up hope, and I don't blame them. But I'm just so happy you guys are here tonight. I'm a little bit of a idealist. I know it's probably disgusting sometimes. You got to think about it. Slave patrols were the beginnings of our police, if you know the history. And then they got to the role of enforcing totally sick racist laws. So they have always been the people who do that. And the culture of, the blue line or the, corruption, there's just so much to it. Oh, Bakari, hello. Thank you so much for saying hello. I appreciate that. We're just wrapping up. But, yay, I just appreciate the wonderful support. Everybody here tonight was amazing. I want to thank you so much for being here. Check the Black Christian codes of 1724. Oh my God, I'm too scared to. I'm too scared to. Gun laws have roots in racism. Absolutely. Everyone's been so great tonight and helping educate everybody, and I appreciate it very much. Gun laws and citizenship. We could be here all night. 5th Democratic primary debate is November 20th. Let me just get that straight. And the 6th one is in December. And Pat, the government gave them the power to hunt down slaves and bring them back. Yep. Bakari, 13th, 14th, 15th Amendments makes so-called blacks Moors chattel property. Guys, it's all in there. And we need to use that Constitution of ours to change and dismantle some of the sick stuff that's going on. And then we need to take those laws and enforce them. And it's going to happen, guys. Just please don't give up hope. If you have not subscribed to my YouTube channel, I am trying to build viewers and views of my videos. If you support what I'm doing, and it's just trying to use my white privilege to educate other white folks and as a way to support the voices of people who live this bullshit every day. You don't have to be a star. You don't have to be famous. You matter. You're living this. You're the real thing. So come and tell me what you think, and I'll repeat it. And sometime maybe I'll have a phone-ins, and you can tell everybody with your own voice, because I don't want to be the one talking. It's not fair. Oh, yeah, no, I would never. He would never. No, don't. Yeah, we're going to do, I have lists of panels. This week I am going to get out the subject matters per week and start signing people up who want to be in a panel, and it'll be very controlled, and you'll know the topic. It's not going to be adversarial. It's just going to be a discussion. And I'm going to sit and listen and be very, very glad to do so. And I'm going to learn. Is Michael someone that can be engaged with? I think it's best that he not come on to the show. It's just for the better. And so I'm hoping that's it'd be for the best. It'd be better. Because I don't want people on here who are gonna just harass people to be like they think they're funny or something. Because it's not like, it's a serious topic. It's not. I don't know. It's a long story. But anyway, you guys are wonderful. And are you volunteering, Pat? And so yes, please subscribe, ring the bell. If you, moderator. If you believe like I do that it's way past time for white America to face our own racial history and learn it. Not to be mean, but so that we can help our society to grow and become more humane for everybody. It's in our best interest. White folks just don't realize it. It's in our best interest to have equity and have happy citizens. Nothing good ever came of being rotten. Nothing. Maybe in the short run, but not in the long run. So thank you so much for being here. If you have friends and you support me, get them over here. Tell them to subscribe. I'm trying to build this YouTube channel so I can get to more white people. The more people I have, the more YouTube actually puts it's like this whole formula. They put your stuff up higher so that more people can see it. And I ran out of a lot of white friends a long time ago. I'm just kidding. So I gotta get YouTube to promote stuff. And if you watch any of my videos, tell me what you think. I have a lot of them. Some of them are obnoxiously in your face and raw. Some of them are boring and educational, and they're geared towards white folks because I don't teach black people or African American. That's not my place. I don't do it. Oh, cool. James, I am so happy that you're here. You really made my night. I'm absolutely serious. Yeah, cool. Yep. Great. Thank you so much, everybody, for being here. And bring your friends, because the more the merrier. Cool. And I love the conversations, and hopefully I will see you next week at this same time. So sweet dreams, everyone, and please be safe. It's getting bad, and I know, and we all know it's gonna get worse. So just really take care, and thanks for being here. Good night, everybody, and PM me for anything. Pat, I owe you a serious phone call. I'm not worthy. I know. Anyway, good night, everybody. Oh my gosh, it's dinner time for me. Okay.
You had a little, right?
I did, but I'm having more. I'm not even off yet. Good night, everybody.